Hey everybody, it's Jason with On the Play Games coming to you with another round of recorded live play from the tables, this time from Grandline from last Sunday the 17th, August the 17th. This match is going to feature Kylo Tarkentown versus a little brew that I've kind of been playing around with. There's a video out where I was trying to use Doom as part of a mill strategy. This was before the full set 5 was put out. Made some modifications, and I kind of been playtesting with it a little bit online. Seems to do okay against Sabine in the race. It's not quite as good as I was hoping it would be against Vader, but we could possibly pull out a win on Vader sometimes. And that's okay. Vader is not the most played deck right now. It does pretty well against some other lists like Mother Talzin and so forth as well. But this time we're going to get to see how it plays against Kylo. And we're going to see in Game 1 a really interesting interaction with a card that I put in called a Fine Edition, and how that plays into a double blue Rey deck. But before we go any further, I want to talk about the PQ Recovery Party. For those of you who get your third loss, we are going to be hosting over at Animal House Cards, which is in Northwoods Mall. It's 251 Northwoods Mall, Unit K844. It is pretty easy to find as long as you can find the Planet Fitness. And then just to the right of the Planet Fitness is a main entrance into the mall. And as you go into that entrance, off to the right-hand side is where the card shop sits. And it is very big and hard to miss. So check that out if you get a chance while you're in town. We'd love to have you. We are doing a free win-a-box tournament. Probably going to be a 3-rounder. And we'll just go with the top place player getting the box. Or if we get enough people coming over, we might run it until we get to a clear leader, maybe 4 rounds or something like that. Something where we have a clear leader amongst the players that do attend. We're going to fire that whenever the players are ready. So whenever we have enough players to fire, and we probably like around between 3 and 4, we'll do that to allow players to get their games in over at Energy Gamers, and support them for their planetary qualifier. It looks like they're getting pretty close to 40 players right now, so that puts it around 6 rounds, I think is what that pushes it to. Might still be in 5. There's an algorithm, but I have to forget it right off the top of my head as it is. We're also going to do a spin to win for a Legends of the Force box as well. So there's 2 boxes of Legends of the Force that are being given away by Animal House Cards, which I can't say enough about Kevin and the guys and the team he has over there and their willingness to just support the Star Wars community. They're really showing us with this event and the weeklies that we've been running, and the product they brought in. They got more carbonite boxes in, and had to they all of a sudden realized, wow, we're running out of Star Wars product pretty quick, and put in another order. So if you're looking for carbonite boxes, they're there as well, or packs. And they have packs, I believe, of all 4 sets too, so you can grab along the line of what you want as far as what you're looking for. With that said, I also want to bring up the weeklies. There's going to be a little bit of change to this slide, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. Final Round Game Shop, Tuesdays, always a $10 entry fee, and it fires hard at 6:30. That is a best of 1, so we're in and out pretty quick, and it is a absolute shootout. Really cool way of playing the meta, or way of playing the game, because you got to build your deck to be able to handle everything, or you have to build your deck in a way that it does what it's supposed to do, and it does it well. So definitely check that out on Tuesday nights. They have had a little bit of a delay in getting their weekly participation packs in, but they are going to make that up to players, so keep that in mind as you are in events with them, that they are working to get those in. A little bit of a distributor issue, and they're working to resolve that. Then we got our I guess I'm going to do this in reverse order. I'm going to start at the bottom, then jump up. Friday night's final round is doing a best of 3. This will be their 3rd week doing it. We fired last week. And that is going back in, I believe they're changing it to packs instead of credit, so that the packs are being handed out according to record, just like they do with the modern event for Magic the Gathering. So we're going to change those things up a little bit in this slide and put it back out. For Saturday, though, Animal House Cards is making the biggest change, and they are going from a $10 entry fee for store credit to a $10 entry fee for a double win-a-pack. So every win counts for 2 packs. So you just get 1 win, you've already got your money back. You get 2 wins, you've doubled down. And if you get 3 wins, you've got another 2 packs coming to you. So that's 6 packs. And then at the whole thing, Kevin's going to do a spin to win for a pack of Carbonite, I believe he also said. So be looking out for that, and we are going to be updating this slide shortly, but I wanted to get the information out. And then Sundays at Grandline Games. Remember, August, we are doing a special where every entry gets you a pack. Then on top of that, it's a win-a-pack, and the player who comes in first or undefeated, I'm not sure which one they were doing there. I think it comes in first. We'll get an additional pack. So that's a possibility of 5 packs. And through the rest of the month of August, they are going to be doing double weekly participation packs too. All right, we hand those right out at the start. So Tim ran it last weekend, did a great job. Really appreciate you, Tim, for doing that. So keep those things in mind. We're going to be a little shake up here, and just everything that's changing is just more goodies for the players. So all these shops are doing a great job of trying to support the Star Wars community as we continue to grow, and we are growing. We had 2 new players join us last Sunday at Grandline. That was really exciting to have those guys out. Appreciate both the Austins. It was 2 Austins, Austin F and then Austin L. So both those guys were really cool to meet, and I look forward to seeing them again. And they played some really cool decks, and we did have are having a video drop that has the gameplay between a Kylo Ren Tarkin Town, or Kylo, the new Kylo Set 5 Tarkin Town, and a little double blue Rey creation that kind of preys a little bit on this idea of using your your discard pile as an additional resource of cards that you can play from. And Kylo really is the first leader to take advantage of the discard. So with that said, make sure you check out that video. I'll make sure it's linked at the end of this video. As always, we do try to bring the Star Wars to the tables. This time it's Grandline that we are playing. You can see our Kylo matchup here. I think I misspoke and said that was this is the video from the 17th. I apologize. So we'll be checking that out here real soon. There's one thing that I want to change, and I always like to go just a little bit faster. I put everything about 110% of its normal play speed. So plays will look a little faster, but you won't hear us sounding like chipmunks. So that's kind of what we're going after. And we're going to go ahead and take it to the tables and play this thing and see what happens. Keep in mind, I cannot hear the audio from the tables, but we do a little cut, and then we decide that we're going to debate on how we're doing the initiative roll. And we decide to do a poker hand, which is always fun. I'm a big odd-even person or poker hand when it comes to playing rolling for initiative, just because high roll with 2 dice does often end up in a situation where you have to re-roll. And I rolled a pair of 2s with a 6 high, and he rolled 2 3s, so he went out right. Then you have to re-roll the dice that was in the middle, but Austin was gracious enough to just say we'll call that a 1. I pulled out the Grandline chip, there it is from our hyperdrive. Thank you from the guys up there in Myrtle Beach who made those. They were especially made for each shop during our hyperdrive event. On the other side of that is the OTPG hyperdrive event date. But right now we're just using that as an initiative token. I think I cut my deck twice there, but you know, it's all randomized. And I took a moment, had to step away for a quick second, and we're off to the races. Austin's already taking a look at his hand, making his decisions. He has the initiative and determining whether or not he is keeping his hand. You notice I kept my hand down until he made a decision. And that takes us back to something that happened in the Galactic Championships, where a player put 2 cards down. He had the initiative. His opponent decided to take a mulligan, and then that person mulliganed. And that was a huge error there, because the ruling came back that your opponent now gets to go through your deck and pick your first 6 cards, which is harsh. I think at that point you might as well just give them a game loss. But hey, you never know. You might draw into something, so there's still at least a chance for a win. There's that participation pack that was put out. We were hoping for that showcase flip, but he did get a nice one. He got the mother and a special card, one you can only get out of the starter boxes. So that was pretty cool. And the mother does get played in some renditions of Young Han Blue. So here we go with a test run of double Rey. I missed my 2 drops on my first hand. Had to take the mulligan. And you're going to probably see me, hopefully I've cut it out enough where you don't see it too much, but I do a lot of flipping of my cards when I'm playing the game. I don't like that about myself. I don't like that I shuffle the cards in my hand all the time. But we did start the clock a little bit late. I'll probably be catching that here pretty soon. Over in another table, I think it was Doug versus Scott. So that was Sabine versus the Darth Vader yellow, which eventually beat me in this. Me and Scott were in the last round undefeated, and he did take it from me with some really good plays to keep my life gain off. So we got 2 turn 1 plays. The initiative goes to me. And one thing about this video is we don't get a real good look at each other's hands often, but as we're playing them pretty tight to ourselves. However, Austin did play a very good game, I thought. But I do get a chance to surprise him. And I thought for a second maybe I cheated him. Because of a Fine Edition's text, you have to defeat a unit before you can play it and get the advantage of playing a upgrade. But after reviewing it, come to realize I played it right. So I was kind of happy that I didn't accidentally cheat him. I thought he was just going to go ahead. Yep, there he goes. I draw a card. Not a terrible play for him to go ahead and kill that the way he did. And now that snapshot reflex has gone into the graveyard, giving. I had the life puck turned upside down from Metal Fab. By the way, those are life pucks from Metal Fab. That makes it really nice when it comes to editing these videos, because I do not have to do the life total change in a post editing, so I love it. And they have some really cool features. You can change the backgrounds. Right now they're both set at blue, obviously because I was set to play with my Rey Blue. But yeah, you know, they're really, really cool. They got a timer, and the key thing about them, they have a shut-off feature that is after 5 minutes, if they haven't anything changed to them, they shut themselves down to save the power. But if you keep that timer running, it'll run all the way through that timer until the timer ends, and then 5 minutes after the timer ends if something still hasn't been done. And here I have a little bit of confusion about the base. And throughout this entire game, I have confusion about the base. I keep thinking he's on like a 28 or 30 point base. The not having the force base did kind of trick me a little bit, I guess, or trick myself. Because he was like, "Why would I have the force token?" I was going to pull him out one. It's like, you attacked with a force unit, right? But he's playing Target Town, so he lets me get the dog out. Right here, I probably would have attacked the Ezra and Tarkentown it away. That's probably what I would have done. But he elects to play a card. I attack the base, and my dog grows. So, again, I think the best move, and maybe the only thing that Austin did not take advantage of during his gameplay, is Tarkentown. So my dog gets a +1/+1. I was tapped out anyway, so Rey wasn't going to give it to him. He goes to the base, and that's where I probably would have gone into Ezra and killed Ezra with the Tarkentown. But he did put 4 points of damage on the base, continues to play some cards, and there's the Migs. And then he does what Migs does, and he puts 2 points on the dog, which makes it to where you can't kill it with Tarkentown. However, if he put that 2 points on Ezra, then the dog wouldn't be quite as big. Ezra would be dead, and Ezra gets a counter, experience counter from Doom at the beginning of the regroup phase. I believe is how it reads. So there is a point where I don't put a token, experience token on one of my units after Rey attacks. I call it, I believe, but I just didn't do it until later on. Like we put it on there. So we're on the 5 resource turn, I believe. That would make sense since I was tapped out with Doom. And with double Rey, it's really awesome because, and this is where I make Ezra bigger, because I don't want that Tarkentown to kill her or kill him. I'm terrible about the pronouns for these cards. We had a conversation about whether Biggs was a male or female. I was so off. So broke the shield, killed the Migs. Migs just has to go. Power of the Dark Side happens. That's a pretty simple one there. I think with the dog being in play, you just go ahead and let Doom do his thing. And it was a good play to do the Power of the Dark Side to get it out of the way, or Doom would just continue to get bigger. And my nickname for this deck is Rey Scooby Snacks, because Scooby-Doo is Doom, and the snacks are the little +1/+1s that go out as Doom goes into his regroup phase. I had 1 resource left over to put out a R2-D2. And I believe I elected to keep that card on top of my deck. And there's another activation of Kylo. I go ahead and swing him with a dog to kill his unit, putting 2 damage on the dog. Now remember, the dog still does have the +1/+1 counter. I can't remember what we were talking about here, but I'm sure you can hear a little bit of it. I do have the volume turned down just a little bit on the recorded play. He goes into the base for 2. Still not using that Tarkentown. And I don't know if I would have gone into the dog, into Doom, and then Tarkentowned him away. Maybe that's another angle that would have been played. Perhaps just the life puck being on his base might have thrown him off for using his epic action, as I don't recall him using it in this game here, at least. Maybe in the next one. And then Doom gives R2-D2 his +1/+1 experience. And initiative is sitting on me, I believe. I think we did a decent job of passing the initiative back and forth. And it's spots like this where the... So I tap one. I ready it back up. So making decisions on what I want to do. And I think here I end up putting a Jedi lightsaber on Doom just to give him enough to stay alive through a activation of Tarkin Town. That's basically what I'm trying to do there. But at the same time, it is a force unit, so when it attacks, it gives a unit -2/-2. I believe for the attack, could be for the phase, but I believe it's just for the attack. There I get to sacrifice the R2-D2. Not a big deal. I'm going to swing in and kill that because of the -2/-2 ability. So the Secretive Sage, even though he has a shield, doesn't stick around. And he claims the initiative. And I need to put something else out or I will fall victim to... okay, so this is what I do. I take the snapshot reflex. He's lost a unit, so I can play it. And I play it for 1 because I don't have to worry about the aspect penalties. So I've gotten that snapshot reflex out of the way so I don't have to worry about Kylo coming right in. I flip my leader, which I did act for a second there, call out passing, but decide, no, we need to go ahead and get that extra damage in there like I'm supposed to. Caught it quick enough to where there was no like cards revealed or cards drawn or any information gathered, so that's considered. I would not consider that an illegal play. The dog gives Rey another +1/+1, so now Rey's up to a 4/8, I believe. Counting up my dog, the Doom. Doom's got the, I believe, either 1 or 2 +1/+1 counters. I think it's up to 2 at this point. And I've got a black card in the graveyard. I believe a white card as well. So my Anakins are fully turned on. And let's see what happens here. He activates his Kylo. He's looking for an answer to that dog. I put out another R2-D2. Because Rey will attack and give him a +1/+1 counter. So that's what I'm going for. My opponent puts out, and he -3s my dog. It's not a bad play. I mean, there's nothing he really can kill with it, so we might as well go ahead and make the dog smaller. But this dog has got, so Rey attacks. I believe I call out, yeah, I do call that out. And get that counter. So that's not the counter I miss. I believe it's at the end with the dog. With Doom's trigger. I miss, but we'll see here. So he hits in for... I mean, that Doom is huge. He's got 2 +1/+1 counters. He has 2 damage to start with as a unit. 3, 4 from upgrades. I get a force throw on me. I just happen to have a cheap unit. And it takes my dog to 6, I believe there. Might be 4. So I think it's 8 to the base is what I'm swinging at. Let me just go to the base. We'll see how much it is here. It was 3. It was 5. It was 5. It would have been 8, but 5 is the right number. Yep. And okay, that right there was a cheat. I can see where I made, because I did put the counter on him when Rey attacked, and then I'm putting another counter on him right there. And that's all right. So there was a mistake made in this game when it came to that R2-D2 and the experience points on it. However, now he's big enough to where Rey doesn't get to give him a +1 counter. But he should not be that big. So I do apologize, Austin. We did not catch that mistake. And yeah, that I don't know if R2-D2 attacks in to get some damage. We'll see here in a little bit. If he does, then the game wasn't quite as close as it should be. But I do have a pretty wide board. I've got a dog, Doom hits for 8. Rey's hitting for 5, which I later on don't even count Rey up, right? The snapshot reflex. He needs to kill the dog so he can get the snapshot Doom, so he can get the snapshot reflex back into his discard pile. He smuggles out Lone Pike. Does feel a little bit desperate right there. Unfortunately, Lone Pike does not give him any kind of sentinel, but it is a good unit. I mean, it's a 4/6. It's hard to kill with a lot of the feet. So 8 to the base. And this is where I think we're laughing about the size of this dog and it having just a big old booty. The witch comes out. Yeah, that did hit for 3. Or 4. So he really should be at 19. Really should be at 19. Yep. And he force throws me. This is sad, really, here, because he should have been at 19, and I think he concedes the game because Rey can attack for 5. So, again, Austin, do apologize about that. That should have been 19, not 20, and that may have given you reason to claim initiative and perhaps flip out that Kylo. I think we're at 7 resources. So, no, we're at 6 resources. 7 resources. So Kylo could come out and sentinel up. I think he claimed the initiative after he does his force throw. So either way, I'm pitching a 4 casting cost card. I elect to do the Cannon Jarrus and keep the Cannon Jarrus just because takedown just doesn't have a target really strong, in my opinion. I claim the initiative. I think that I just felt like I shouldn't have had him at 20, so, or they had a 30-point base. So that was the game 1. There was a play error there with the counters on the R2 unit. Should not have hit for 4. But if I attacked with the Rey first, it would have gotten the extra counter. So maybe in the end it doesn't make a difference. But nonetheless, stealing that snapshot reflex, I think caught Austin off guard. That this deck can manipulate the discard pile of my opponents like that. So, all in all, if he had only 2 counters, let's see, he would have 3. He wouldn't have gotten a counter there. No, he wouldn't have hit for 4 either way. So, yeah, I was going to claim the initiative, and he pointed out that he's only got 5 points of life. So, with me claiming the initiative, the dog would have just hit for 8 and did anyway. So it didn't really matter too much as far as how the game was going to turn out, but that was poor play on my part. And I call it like I see it. I call myself out, and that one was poor play on my part. Though I do think that Tarkin Town could have been used earlier in the game to give him some advantage. As you can see, he did not use it in that game. And again, it may just because I'm coming at him with something different, and being able to take that snapshot reflex out of the discard pile may have just put him on tilt a little bit. And again, it could just be the life puck sitting there, kind of throwing him off a little bit. I don't know. But you do see 0 points of damage on my base. And that is one of the things that is really important when going against Kylo is you want to keep that chip damage, those little 2-3 points of damage here and there, off your base. You don't want them to get anything as possible. Keep as close to 0 damage on the base as possible, because that makes it to where Kylo has to do just that much more work to end the game. And we will see in one of these games where there is a Chaotic Monday, or no, I'm sorry, a Admiral Moff. Where's it? Admiral Moff? No, not Admiral Moff. It's the black unit that when defeated, allows the opponent to untap, or the controller of the unit to untap a friendly unit. You might get a glimpse of it in the video as we are checking this out. And we have a little banter going on. I'll kind of let that be able to hear that. Just kind of talking about the silliness of how big Doom was. And, the possibility of, if we do have a smaller planetary qualifier, and it's got like 40 or so players, which looks like what Grandline is starting to get up to, is I'm showing him how to use the life puck and how to reset to 0 on the fly. But yeah, if we have a turnout of 40, 50 players, could luck out, and something like Double Blue Rey might surprise a couple people and race a Sabine, or race a Boba Fett, or race a Kylo list. Everybody's really on the Kylo train right now because it has the highest conversion rate, the top 8s, than any other deck list, or leader and base combination, I should say. There's definitely different versions of the Kylo list. Some only running like 16 upgrades, others going for the full 20 to be at 40% of their deck upgrades. I kind of lean somewhere in the middle there. I do like 20% of my deck to, if I'm thinking I'm going to be drawing a card every time I discard a card, I want to have a lot of upgrades. This game is a little more interesting towards the end. Because we'll let it play out, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But we resolve our first hand. Looks like I'm keeping, so I found a turn 1 drop. One of the things that I found with this deck that I'm playing is that Grogu is not quite as good as I would like him to be. So some adjustments were made to this deck right after. And yeah. And so he's cycling here. He puts down Heroic Sacrifice, which really is good. I put out a shielded unit just because I don't want to get Tarkentown away, because he could still, I guess if he had MiGs, he would have played it first. And then we had a little too much banter. I was like, hey, if we want to get this thing going, we're going to run out of time if we don't. We had a little joke about, like, what's that card? Can I read the read the text on that? We're both playing the same unit onto the table. It's pretty sweet. You'll see a lot of parity in the units that are played between Kylo and the Rey list. I believe in my hand at this point I have a Jedi lightsaber, which I'd love to put on that Secret of Sage. But I also have a Ezra. And so, knowing that there is Power of the Dark Side in that deck, I decided to go ahead and put some damage on the base, see what he's going to do. And these two are like ships passing in the night. Neither one of us want to lose our shield token. And I put out the Ezra, hoping that Power of the Dark Side doesn't wipe out a play. Trying to fish one out of his hand if I can help it. Yeah, it looks like that top card in my hand might be a Jedi lightsaber. He force throws me. I pitch the 0 cost a fine addition, which now turns on the dark side of Anakin. He puts another upgrade into his discard pile, and he has 2 remaining. I want to say he plays Migs here, but I could be wrong. Lots of 2-drops in this Kylo list. They're just trying to get in early, quick damage. And so no, he goes ahead and passes. We go into the next round of play, entering the regroup phase. I have no idea what I put down. Could not remember. Yeah, talk about 2 sweet mats. The close the gate scene that Kylo's playing on is from the sector qualifier. Now right here I put 2 points of damage on my Ezra. This is where I would just like immediately Tarkin Town it away. Yeah, because if you power the dark side, I'm just going to sack it. If you... And it dodges a lot of things, but it's Tarkin Town bait right now, baby. And he puts on a big fat saber. And I believe... I think I might... Okay, put Kanan Jarrus out. Now, Kanan Jarrus and Ezra are nice together because they're both Spectres. They're both Jedi, so they work real with Yaddle. And Kanan Jarrus can gain life real quick and mill. It can actually mill pretty quickly in this list, especially in the new version of it. So he goes ahead and kills the Ezra, puts 3 on his Secret Sage, which brings it down to 2 life. Which I'm doing the math there, and I go ahead and just swing in. And he did all right. He got 2 for 2 and put a upgrade in the graveyard. He still has the ability to put 3 points of damage on Kanan Jarrus if he wanted to. But does not use the Tarkin Town. So I think that's 2 points of damage. No, maybe it's 1. No, it's 1 point of damage because he attacked in with the fallen lightsaber, doing a point of damage to each ground unit. I go ahead and do 4 to the base and have him mill a card. He mills, I believe, a force throw, which gave me 1 life back. We're now looking at 6 damage to 1. He kills my Kanan. This is kind of where Kylo wants to be. If he could put a 2-drop out, but no 2-drop, so he goes to the next phase. I have the initiative. We're now up to 6 resources. And I go ahead and flip her out because he just used the power of the dark side. I'm just hoping that he hasn't drawn a second one to be. But he's digging for it, and now I want to protect myself from the possibility of it. I go ahead and attack and give Rey the +1/+1. He puts out a witch. I go ahead and play out Anakin, which he can do double 3s, double -3s at this point. And I'm keeping his board pretty clean. He goes ahead and puts out another 2-drop. I claim the initiative. That beautiful big wheel. Again, printed from the warehouse of 3D printers that Myrtle Beach Games have. So once again, a big shout out to Myrtle Beach Games for being just an awesome shop. I swing in for immediate 5. Now he's going to kill my Rey. It's going to cost him 4 to do it. I go ahead and put out a Secret of Sage. I still have 5 resources up, so he could flip his Kylo if he wanted to now. I go ahead and put on a Fallen Lightsaber. I kind of feel like he should have flipped his Kylo. Nah, well, he doesn't have enough resources to really take advantage of it. He puts out Migs late in the turn. Maybe he drew into Migs when he uses Kylo. So I'm going to assume he's going to bust that shield. I claim the initiative. So we're on at 6. I think that's 6. It might be 7 already. That definitely makes it 7 now. All right. So first thing that I want to do, I probably should have thought this out a little bit better and just went ahead and swung at the MiGs. I don't think I do that. I just put a counter on my Secret of Sage. Which makes it where MiGs can't kill it. And his other unit can't kill it in just one action. And we put 2 points of damage on my Secret of Sage, which is a 3-1 at this point. And he decides to just run his MiGs into my Secret of Sage, which I did question, but he came up with a good answer that he wanted to keep the Force, which did give me a little bit of knowledge. And since I lost a unit, I give -6, -6 to that Kesra, I believe is the way it's pronounced. He claims initiative, grabbing the Grandline wheel, and he's taking the wheel. Is it me, or does the artwork on the close the shield gate look like it's almost standing up off the board? That last ship in the bottom right-hand corner that's flying out. It almost looks like we got something stood up on the mat at times, especially when he moves his hands away from it, like right there. Kind of looks like it's 3D jumping up at the camera. It's pretty cool. He has the ability to flip his Kylo, which gives him nice Sentinel. He has plenty of really sweet options in his graveyard. There's the Mati. That's Admiral Mati. That's what I was looking for. He concedes. Now, there was a bit of a debate at this point on how big he could have made his Kylo. He also thought about, he was pointing out that he couldn't give his Kylo Sentinel with the constructed lightsaber, but Bertie Scott was like, well, it already has, Kylo already has Sentinel. So at that point, we had discussed a little bit more about how big he could have made his Kylo. And I think we came out with the number 14. Now, my attack with Anakin would have done 8 of that 14, leaving it at 6. And if you'd noticed in my hand, I had another Anakin, which there was a dark side card and a light side card in my graveyard. So it would have gotten the -6, -6, and I would have cleared it out of the way. And then the Luke Skywalker would have gotten in there. And we did talk about a little bit of the father and the son, and maybe even putting Leia in there so we can get the full incest package going on. But nonetheless, that is our match to bring to you today from Grandline Sunday weekly event. Remember, we're running those promos until the end of August to kick off the weeklies there. And we're getting new players all the time. It's always fun to see new players out there trying out things. And Kylo is a great deck. But he, again, did not use his Tarkin Town. Now, I don't know in that particular game if there was a good Tarkin Town target, because most of my units did not have damage on them unless he was just killing them. However, in that first game, you did see an opportunity where he probably could have taken an Ezra out completely, and that would have been an easy kill. But nonetheless, or I guess he could have killed the Secretive Sage with it and kept his MiGs alive. That would have been where he could have used Tarkin Town in this matchup and had some advantage. So I would have had to attack into that MiGs or get it off the table somehow. But with that said, whether it's day or night, this is OTPG telling you, may the Force be with you, and have a great one.